Out of the toolbox, I got a custom seat.
Well, it is September 27th. Season just opens this upcoming Thursday. We're actually out here putting in our early fall food plots right now. It's our first year on the property, and we are putting in a good Boonstown seed mix of red clover, some radishes, and a few other things. It should do great here. There's not, on this property right now, there's not a whole lot of agricultural fields around it. So this is gonna be some of the only greens for, a few miles. So all the deer in this area, we're hoping we'll use this plot upcoming this fall.
This segment's brought to you by MBS Feed.
The wife and I are in the ground blind this morning overlooking this clover and wheat field. We've had a lot of activity in this field the last couple days, and we're hoping one of the bucks step out. Last night we had 2 new bucks show up on camera that we haven't had before. It's October 19th. It's a perfect morning. It's really chilly, north wind, so it should be good. Hopefully we see something this morning that makes us want to pull the trigger. We'll see. Alright, let's just get the camera light. I got this stand super early this morning. I'm with my buddy Joel, the Whitetail Fit. He came down from Nebraska last night, so I'm gotta get him on good buck. Been a lot of buck activity lately. We run over this little acorn ridge. Kind of goes down to a bottom, so they've been hitting it pretty hard. It's my first thing here this year. I've left it alone just for this time of year. feet through this acorn bottom. Nothing of any size. Soft board doe though. So we're gonna get down right now, go get some food, watch some of the Khabib KG fight, and then see if we can get back out of here. The big food plot. The wind switched from a north to a south about midday, so this is one of the only stands I can hunt. I've got Joel back in the thick timber, a couple hundred yards away from where I was hunting this morning. It's a great south wind set. I think he's going to see a lot of deer tonight, and I think he'll be able to. There's a good buck in that area, so I'm hoping one steps out for him. In the food plot tonight, I'm actually hunting right over a decoy. So I'm hoping one of these big boys steps out and kind of wants to go investigate it. These mature bucks have been showing up minutes after dark and right after shooting light. So I'm hoping one of them might come into a grunt, or we'll kind of maybe see the decoy in this field and maybe come investigate a little sooner. This morning I definitely heard some big horns locking up. They weren't smashing them too hard, but they were definitely kind of rubbing them together, and it sounded like some thick horns. So I also had one of the small bucks that came through this morning was coming in nose to the ground, and he was grunting the whole time, so they're starting to feel it. I think the pre-rut's setting in, so it should be a perfect time to start maybe getting the horns out and calling a little. Back in the stand this afternoon. It's about 2:15. Joel and I went back home, got some food, did a little editing, and then back in the stand. So on my way in, I was actually in my tree arm. I saw a little 1.5-year-old spike. He was nose to the ground, ran right under me, didn't even notice. So hoping they're on their feet this afternoon and we can get something on the ground. This should be a good evening. Hopefully this wind slows down and it'll be productive. So fingers crossed. Well, we're back in the same stand this morning. It's really cold. It's about 30 degrees. Virtually no wind. It's super quiet. Should be a perfect morning for deer movement. I haven't seen anything yet though. I think I can hear one walking by me. But I'm overlooking this pasture ground. It's like a transition point between the neighboring property of thick timber coming over to our destination fields, our food plots on the top of this easement. So these deer like to move in between here. I've had a few good bucks on camera here the last few days. Very sporadic, but a lot of daytime pictures. I've kind of gone on a dry spell the last couple of days with not seeing much activity, not seeing many deer at all. So if that's the case again this morning, then I might just jump from the stand. Maybe this safety harness will catch me, but it's been pretty rough the last couple of days. Joel's been seeing quite a bit of deer and has had a big mature 8-point multiple times within 30-40 yards and just hasn't been able to seal the deal. So we'll see if we can get it done this morning. I think Joel's leaving after the hunt, head back to Nebraska to catch the rut there, and then he's got to head out to Missouri, and he might be back in a few weeks, so we'll see. Really our first frost of the year. It's bluebird sky. I just had that big 8 come in. He hasn't broken G2 when he's watched him all summer. But I rattled about 10 minutes ago and he jumps over the fence. And he works his way. He gets to about 40 yards and the sun was just peeking the tree line and I don't have my ND filter on. And so the footage is really, it's kind of blown out, but the shot looks good. I mean, I went back and reviewed the footage and everything looks great on it. It's just that for some reason the arrow didn't pass through and I don't know why. It looked like I double lunged him, but he offered me a 30-yard shot, perfectly broadside. I've got a few more does working in right now, but man, Joel and I've worked so hard this week. We've been putting in the tree stand time and Joel's seen so many mature deer. He's seen like 4 or 5 of them this week. Had a few super close encounters. He actually had this buck I just shot at 30 yards 2 days ago, but just wouldn't give him a shot. Man, I hope everything over there is going good for him. I hope that mature bait steps out for him and offers him a shot. Man, I'm jacked up right now. I feel like I just drank like 8 cups of coffee. I haven't seen a mature deer myself while I was hunting since October 10th. Oh man, they've been starting to move quite a bit lately. It's October 30th right now, and they've been moving quite a bit. So I'm gonna give them a little time. I'm about to get down and see if I can find some blood. And I think Joel is gonna work his way over here in a bit. And we'll see if we can find this buck. We'll see.
All right, guys. Well, here he is. It was a pretty short blood track. Joel met me with the truck over here, and he probably didn't go, I don't know, 40 yards from the fence line. So it was a perfect shot. I was kind of worried about it at first because of how the arrow looked, but the blood trail was pretty thick, and we covered him fine. So he was one of the hit listers that I wanted to take off the place this year. He has his broken G3 over here. But he's just a super tall swooping 8-point. He gave me the shot at 30 yards, and I kind of got some redemption from previous shots the last few weeks. So Joel and I have been covered up in bucks this past week. He actually had this exact same deer in the field with him 2 nights ago, and just wasn't able to get a shot on him. So definitely happy to take him off the place. I've got one more tag in my pocket, and the only other buck that I would shoot out here now is the one that I shot previously a few weeks ago, and he lived. So he's the only other buck I'd take off this place. I'll let someone else take the next one off. So it looks like from here on out, Oklahoma's a 2-buck state, and I'll be doing a little public land hunting after that. So I've still got a Texas tag in my pocket too. So this weekend, I think I'm gonna head down there and see if I can tag out in Texas. But for now, I think we're gonna get this guy cleaned up and quartered out and see if we can get Joel back in the tree this afternoon and see if we can get the other big 8-point off the farm.